guess first let's start with last week and the film. How did it look? Once you watch that back.
I think the biggest thing's right. We got to finish drives. We turned the ball over 3 times. We put the ball on the turf a 4th time. The biggest thing is turnovers. We had a few drives. We had 2 drives of 12 plus plays, and we got to make sure we convert those. We had a 16-play drive for I think it was 79 yards where we got down in the red zone. We just got to finish those, right? I thought at times we moved the ball efficiently. We had a decent amount of yards. We just got to be able to score more points at the end of the day and finish drives.
Is there a common denominator in not being able to finish the drives?
Well, I think the one thing you look at, you can't 3 turnovers in a game. You can't have it. I think that's a big thing is that ball security is huge, right? And teams are going to be looking at that on film, and you know what I mean. They're going to keep trying to attack the football in multiple different ways. But at the end of the day, we got to be able to hold on to the football. 3 turnovers is a lot in a football game, so we got to make sure from that past week, we got to make sure we protect the football.
Your thoughts on ODU? What do you see on film from the Commodores?
They're good, right? They're a very good defense. They do stuff completely different. They have their own scheme. They run their stuff. They'll pressure from every edge. They have, I think, 11 really talented football players, and they got a lot of depth too. They're a team that flies around to the football. They can be in drop 8 coverage, and at the same time, they can get 7, 8, 9 people in the box at the snap.
How is what they're doing similar, or is it different than when you guys saw them last year?
It's similar, called a little different. From the structure standpoint, it's definitely similar. But I think, the interesting part are the stuff that we got to make sure we have a good week on. It's just different from any other team that we faced, right? And they run their stuff. At times this year it's a little different, and they teach a little different things from a leverage standpoint, but the structure is very similar.
Coach and Landon yesterday were talking a lot about the third sort of like safety that they use a lot to drop back. I'm just curious what you see from that, if there's anything that pops out of the film from that.
Yeah, I think, when you ask that player to do a lot of different things, that means they have a lot of trust in him, and he's a very talented football player. They ask him to fit into the box for the run game. They ask him to drop in coverage and be a safety, a quarter safety, post safety, whatever it is. So when you're asking someone like that to play basically kind of multiple positions, they obviously think the world of him, and he's a really good football player, so we got to make sure we account for him.
And you mentioned making sure you guys are finishing drives. How do you address that even just in practice?
I think there's 2 things with that. The first thing is starting fast, right? And then one thing that we talked about is that you never know which play it's going to be that has the influence of the game or has the influence of that individual drive, and really breaking it down and treating every play independently, right? Just because at the end of the day, if it's one mess up here, one mess up there, you don't know if that's going to be the play that minimizes the ability for that drive to score. So it's really breaking it down into a microscope and just focusing on that individual play and making sure we have 11 people doing the correct job.
And then Zoe, Landon, Coach Chesney have all mentioned the meetings that they had last week about the pass game. How do you like that they're taking that responsibility on themselves to make sure that they're, sitting down and talking about where they want to improve just as players?
Yeah, I think that's huge. And I think just them being on the same page, and it's more about, them receivers, tight ends, running backs, seeing the perspective of the quarterback, right? And seeing the perspective of where he sees defenses, how he sees the ball is going to be thrown, where it's going to be thrown on time. Maybe this one's going to be a little late to let someone clear out the top of the coverage. So I think that's done a really good job. And it's at time, it's just a players meeting where they're talking everything through on top of their position meeting. So it's been really good. We got to continue that.
So nice to get Wiz going the other day.
Say it again.
Nice to get Wiz going the other day.
Yeah, he did a really good job. And I think that's going to be huge. We just have to keep creating explosive plays, right? And that's going to be the thing with this defense is they do a great job of really compacting the middle of the field, really from hash to hash, right? So if there is a chance for a one-on-one, outside the hash, we got to make sure we convert.
Obviously, you gave up a few explosive plays, but how'd you feel overall when you look at the film?
Good. Just keep getting better and better. Obviously, some plays we'd love to have back, some opportunities we would love to have back, but just keep moving forward, keep the product being effective and aggressive, and hopefully we can do it again this weekend.
We'll talk about this weekend. ODU, obviously they've had a lot of success offensively, good quarterback, explosive plays. What do you see on film from them?
Yeah, one of the top offenses in the country, definitely, that we've played. Explosive players all over the field, a lot of speed, unique scheme, and led by an elite quarterback that knows what to do with the ball and can make plays with his arm and his feet. Definitely a lot of issues that they present, and excited for the opportunity to go against it.
Can you talk about Colin Joseph just a little bit more in terms of how much kind of he has on his plate and the trust they have in him, and just kind of maybe the challenges he specifically presents?
Yeah, in that offense, he is the guy. Every offense, the quarterback's the guy with the ball every play. So they're always the most important player. You're always competing against them, and he presents lots of issues with just an elite arm talent and elite speed. So dangerous player, gotta know, you know, what he does well, and at any moment he can make you pay. So I mean, look, against Indiana, one of the best defenses in the country, he had two huge explosive runs. So, and he's thrown it over the top many times this season. So definitely lots of issues. Excited for the opportunity to play against him. Don't know a ton about him individually, but you know, he puts good product on film each week.
It had been a few weeks since an interception, so how important was it for JT to even just ice the game that way to hopefully get some momentum going in that game part?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're frustrated we're not getting more takeaways. Had some opportunities for whatever reason, you know, didn't make them, didn't get the ball back. So we got to continue to figure out ways to get it. Obviously, you know, the end of the game, he comes up with a huge one to seal the deal. We'll come. Just keep doing what we do, keep working it the way we do. Eventually, we're going to get more takeaways.